Twitter's sent out. Get all the wonderful things taken care of, and we should be good. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is October 15th, and this is the October 15th Text Quest Weekly Recap. So, today is the first time I've done this format, so it's probably going to be a little bit weird, but I would like to take Sundays to basically recap what I've done the past week, then plot out what my plans are for the coming week, and then end with a little bit of, development. We might end up making it feel a lot more like some of our earlier modeling streams where I put on some music and maybe do a little bit of modeling. Maybe. We'll see. But in any case, so to get started, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've done so far. So, I guess we'll start, since we're in the splash screen, we'll start with the work we did on Saturday. You know what? No, we don't want to do that. I lied. I was going to work backwards, but I think we'll work forwards throughout the week. So, let's go ahead and open up our cabin scene. Overworld cabin. All right. So this week was the first week back from about a week and a half of convention going. So I hit the ground running, addressed a lot of feedback that I got on the build for GDEX, which was in Columbus, Ohio, as well as some of the issues that I ran into that I asked the experts at Unity at Austin, Texas at Unite. So we addressed a lot of feedback there. We tried to tackle some of the problems that I had had in the past, and we did a lot of usability features and updates, things like that. And on the whole, just a lot of miscellaneous small things that had been eating away at me for a while, and we got that mostly taken care of in the first half of the week. So the second half of this week was, wow, really? We're still opening the cabin. Okay. No idea what's going on there. All I know is that it's weird. Come on. Man. Huh. I wonder if... Well, no, that wouldn't make sense. Alright. Well, I guess this is a good time to talk about the last thing that I did, which is, of course it is. I upgraded to Unity 2017.2, and of course that means it broke all of my lighting data, and I did that before the stream. I forgot to rebake all of it. So, hooray! We're going to clear all of our lighting data. Ugh. This is why you don't update before a Devstream. Alright, we'll let that clear real quick. It's going to make everything kind of wonky looking, but it doesn't really matter. We're only going to tangentially talk about cabin. Well, the cabin level is going to be the focus of next week's development, but for this week we didn't really do much with it. It's just convenient to use it as an example for what we have done this week. All right. Oh, this is going to be so hideous looking. So, part of what we did last week was we have interactions, or we added support for interactions triggering sound effects. So now when you do certain things, you can actually get audio feedback for what you've done. God, it looks... So I know this looks really terrible, but this is actually what the cabin originally looked like this level of terrible lightingness. Man, this really brings back memories. In any case, so if we hit this bear, you can see that we have different sound effects that play. So that's one of the new things that we have. We now support audio or interaction triggered sound effects. I'm looking forward to implementing that a little bit more, but for now the baseline of the feature is all I was really worried about getting in there. Eventually I am going to have to do an actual full-on audio pass where I go through and I manually assign sound effects to all of these interactions. And by manually, I mean actually use the spreadsheet online. So let's go to our verbs. So now every verb has an audio field that can be filled in with a name for a specific audio clip, and that will play when the output is, well, output. So let's see, what else do we have? This kind of sucks, but we're going to have to go back to the intro now, because we're going forward throughout the week. Let's see, other, splash fade, and we might as well save. All right, so the other thing we did this week was we now have interactions actually saving and loading in custom text-based adventures. So you can set up an interactive object in a room, and you can save it. Gets saved out to the save file, so when you load back in, everything's actually still there, and you can edit it if you need to. Now that's just a small step towards getting everything to actually, function in a custom adventure. But author mode, great. But at the very least, it means that we can. So you can see we have test object here. It loads everything up. We can change the name to test. Ooh, well that's interesting. Huh. All right. So we can change the name as we see fit. It's interesting that our caret is like hidden or something. You can see that it's kind of like blinking out there. Huh. I wonder if that's a weird 2017 issue. That seems like it might be. That's probably not great. I probably need to check TextMesh Pro and make sure that that's compatible with 2017.2. In any case, we can actually now rename things live. We can't remove the last name of the object, so you can't ever have an object with no name. You can remove all of the adjectives if you want. Again, just mostly nice little additions, but baby steps towards the larger goal of having full-on interactable objects in custom text-based adventures. Let's go ahead and close that out. Let's quit out. Back. So that's the current state of affairs as of last week, or I guess today. Let's go ahead and stop playing. And I suppose I can go ahead and show you real quick. Well, I would. Let's see. Game development, Unity, text quest, build, custom. So, and you can see here that we do have interactions actually saving out. So that wasn't me just hard loading stuff. All right. So for next week, and keep in mind that today's episode is probably going to be somewhat shorter just because it's kind of more like a status update. But for next week, I would like to get the cabin interior done. So let's go ahead and jump back to the cabin real quick. This is why I was kind of debating doing the Saturday thing first. And by what I mean when I say done, I mean I would like to have all of the art assets in here that I'm going to use, as well as most of the puzzles. There are a few things that are going to have to be saved for a later date, specifically sleeping on the bed. But I'll kind of walk you through what I'm thinking when I say I need stuff in here. So currently, oh god, it looks so bad without any of the lighting. Ugh. So currently, really the only room that has anything in it is the den, and I'm pretty happy with the den. I think pretty much everything that's in here needs to be in here, except for the fireplace. Fireplace obviously does not have any logs or anything in it yet. That's going to be one thing that we work on, as well as having a stack of firewood over here, and that's where you will get a log to use in the Hero's Grove. My cat wants attention, but she does not need it. So that's pretty much the only art that really needs to happen in here. There may also be some visual tweaks to the bear, because the bear is using an unlit shader, which means that it always looks like it's this, even when it's in the dark. I'm not sure if that's great or not. And then, of course, there is the general tweaks that need to happen for lighting in here. Obviously, I need to rebake my light maps, but in addition to that, I also need to tweak a lot of lighting settings to try and get just in general, a much more visible space. It feels too dark in here. So, what else do we have? Oh, yes. We'll get to the bedroom in a second. This room right here is meant to be kind of like a kitchen area, and you'll see that this is one of the only 2 windows in the cabin that is not broken or boarded up. And that's because this is a window that you can climb into from the outside. It is the window facing the wheat field in the plains level. So that means that I need to get some sort of external representation of the plains level in here. I'm still kind of debating whether or how to do that. I don't know if I want to make it like a blatantly obvious lower res thing, like it's just a really cheesy skybox almost, or if I want to make something a little bit more in line with what it actually looks like outside. I'll mess around with that, and we'll pick a choice by the end of the week, obviously. But I would also like some other stuff in here, honestly. This is obviously just an empty room currently, but it would be nice to have, I don't know, some more furniture in here, maybe a table or two. Like I said, I was thinking sort of like a kitchen area, so maybe not a sink or a fridge or anything like that, because this is, the olden times. But it would be nice to have some tables, some cabinets maybe, and maybe 1 or 2 chairs, just to give it a little bit more of a sense that people actually lived here. Now the bedroom has a few things that need to happen. Bedroom, I want to have a dresser over here, and that's not really a huge order. The dresser is just going to contain a set of keys, and maybe a nightstand or something with a journal on it. But aside from that, this room is kind of going to be a little bit more open. Not a lot in it because the bed's already here. Now the bed is super weird because right now it doesn't do anything. It's just an interactive object. You can do some things with it, but you can't really do much. The goal for the end game here is I would like to be able to sleep on the bed, and when you sleep on the bed, you will actually go into a dream sequence that is a classic text-based adventure. So just like straight up text. And it'll just be a short, probably like 5-minute thing that you can quickly get out of. But it would be nice to just have that as sort of like a throwback and a reference. But the reason that I can't actually implement that yet is because that system is probably going to just use the custom text-based adventure stuff that I'm working on. So that means that I am going to have to, put my money where my mouth is and actually use my own system to make a classic text-based adventure for this particular sequence. So that'll be a nice little test bed for me to actually test my own system and say, okay, where am I having problems with it? But we'll see where that ends up going. Hello, Movecraft Pirates. Welcome back. And hello, Kuwe. Welcome back to you. I have yet to say yarg today. I might, because I am going to be doing some amount of art. But not yet. In any case, how are you guys doing? Currently, we're going over the plans for the coming week, what I'm going to try to do. All right, so that about covers the first floor of the cabin. Oh, and actually, I did forget. Currently, the rug is interactable, and that's fine. It's going to be interactable in the future. But it needs to be movable, so when I type move, it actually needs to roll its... Ooh, that's not good. Through a null reference exception, that's never a good sign. So when when you try to move it, it should roll up, and then there should be a trap door that you can open up. Well, once you know how to open it up, of course. Let's go ahead and climb up here. So that's the first floor. Now onto the attic. Now the attic is a little empty right now, obviously. Also, I don't know why this brick is outlined funny like that. I have some theories, but in any case. So I need to get, in general, just kind of more clutter up here. Nothing really interactive. The only thing that I want up here is the wizard cap, really. Let's see. I'm fine because I just made something beautiful for myself. Disappointed if you haven't. I'm sorry. I can't make all of my sound effects all at once. I have to space them out over the course of the stream. Is there actually a way I could play it? You mean the like a demo of Text Quest. There actually is a. Oh, let's see if I did it. I think I did. No, dang it, I didn't. Hold on. Let me double check that. I could have sworn that I had that. I guess I just did this. There you go. If you're curious, pirates, you can play the demo on the website. Well, you can get the demo from the website. All right. Oh, this is convenient. So one of the things that we did fix this week in regards to past updates was we fixed the wonderful usability issues with the pause menu. For some reason, hitting escape was not working. We figured out what that reason was, but it was causing some problems with players. In any case, so yeah, I would like to add more clutter up here. Obviously I have the crates up here, and while those crates are just immaculate, obviously, perfect. In fact, I don't think there have been a finer set of 2 crates ever placed. But I would like to get some more just random things, really, things that would be fun to see in an attic. Maybe some things that you can interact with but can't really do anything with, like not really items but objects. And again, who knows? This could be sort of like just a general level that I use to just throw a bunch of references to people. Oh man, I bet I could even throw in like a Advent an adventure on the Atari reference. In any case, this is a wonderful thing that I do have to address. Currently, it is possible to actually crouch and get to a low point in the roof and then stand up, and you will stand up and see outside. I have somewhat fixed this by, you can see that I can't really slide over any farther to the right here. That's because there are 2 colliders, one on this side and one on the other side, and I guess I just need to move them further in. But in the end, that won't be too much of an issue because I'm kind of planning on lining this entire area basically with clutter, similar to the wooden crates and such. Oh, which apparently are not physical objects. I need to add colliders to them. In any case, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I need to add to here, but most of it is art. There's not a whole lot functionally that I need to do here. And that's because the attic is largely meant to just be hold the wizard cap over here, and you can't get to it yet because you don't have a lantern. So it's going to be darker up here. Something that would sort of be visible if I had baked light maps, but 2017 update. Just took my socks off and smelt it. Oof. Yeah, that's never a good idea. In any case, I actually wonder if the wizard cap works. Nope, it does not currently. That's a shame. So we probably also need to set up the wizard cap. I don't think it's been set up to actually be visible, and it's probably going to have to say like cap at the top of the screen to let you know that you're wearing it. But yeah, let me pull my list up. Make sure that I got everything still. Let's see. So finished cabin interior, fireplace wood. Oh, right. So yeah, the actual things that I'm wanting to focus on would be the fireplace wood, which would be like a pile of wood that you can get wood from. The actual wood in the fireplace itself, which will basically just be an octagonal log that's burning. We might add a little bit more of interesting fire effect. Just have the fire fan out a little bit more instead of sort of being in a column like it is currently. Uh-oh. Really? That's never good. Wait, really? The website's down for you? I just refreshed it. I just loaded it up and everything seems fine. So if you click on the link that I posted there, or that Nightbot posted, I guess, it doesn't go through. In any case, my list went away again. Alright, so one other effect, actually, I think I can do this. Oh, hold on. Yeah, we can transition real quick to the planes level. Darn it, we can't because it broke. Fine, then we'll just jump over to the planes level. Planes. So one of the other things that we need to set up this week, or that I would like to try to set up, is the cabin's chimney. in the plains level. I mean, it exists. It's a physical thing that's actually there. But what I would like to have happen is I would like smoke to be coming out of the chimney when the fireplace is lit. Currently, I don't... you know what, actually... We might end up doing a couple of minor changes. Right now, there is no smoke coming out of it, obviously. But we might end up not having the fireplace be lit right away. Instead, we would just have to let you, the player, light it. And once you do that, the chimney would start bellowing smoke. That wouldn't be too bad, I don't think. Yeah, that would work. But that's a little bit of level interconnectivity that I need to do. Huh. That is not the website that it should have been. Here. Does that work? Oops. Alright. Oh, right. Huh. I forgot that I didn't have that here. So we'll also be working on the exterior of the cabin. And as you can see, this is the kitchen window that I was talking about. Oh, right. I forgot the lighting is baked on, or worked on this level, too. So you can see that this is the window that you would open and climb in. It's looking at the wheat field, which means that we need to have some sort of visual representation of the outside world, since you can kind of see through these windows. And the other thing that I need to do is I need to add a tree, because how else are you going to get up to that window? So a lot of art and design stuff to work on this week. Weird. It must have been trying to redirect you or something. Yeah. All right. Go ahead and click off here. And do we have anything else? So that's pretty much it. I guess we can't really do level transitions right now because the loading seems to be broken. Actually, I'm willing to bet it's not that it's broken. It's that the mini games haven't been set up for these levels yet. And that's a whole other system that I need to refactor, honestly. All right, so let's go ahead and stop playing. So yeah, the big plan for this week is basically cabin, just cabin interior, cabin exterior, cabin interactions, cabin puzzles. I would like to get that taken care of. So to get started on that, I am going to go ahead and how do we want to do this? Thinking about what we're going to do on the stream today. I would like to do a little bit of art on the stream. So I guess we'll go ahead and start by opening up Illustrator. Going to do our texture stuff, and then we will model, and then we will texture that model with the texture that we made. So let's go ahead and say File, New. I like to work at 1024 by 1024. We'll go ahead and say cabin, excuse me, cabin, firewood, firwood, firewood. There we go. Let's go ahead and real quick, I'm gonna do some quick searching for firewood stacks. Yes, you must be a hero, of course. Wow, someone got super artsy with their firewood. Firewood. Why do I have such trouble saying firewood? Let's see here. Wow, really? Someone built a... Okay. Yeah, I was thinking triangle shapes. And it looks like that's not a bad call. Yeah, we'll just do triangle shapes, just because that makes it a little bit easier. Oh boy, though, that is going to make it kind of awkward. Let's see. I guess it's technically less triangular and more... Well, no, it's triangular. I'm going to call it that. What if you want to be half and half? Well, too bad. You have to be a hero. That is also one of the things that we did this week, by the way. So if you say currently in the demo, if you type no, it just spits it back out at you. But in the new version, if you type no, it'll actually give you little messages saying "But thou must" and answer the call and all that stuff. Okay, so triangular shape. That's what we've determined. Cool. Now the real question is how do we want this to be shown? Because it could be shown as, oops. Okay, what is going on here? There we go. So it could be shown as, I'd get rid of some of this stuff. I don't actually think we'll need our scripting open today. But it could be shown as firewood or wood or log. Any of them seem like that would work. Unfortunately, firewood is 8 letters while log is 3. So that means we have to figure out what we want it to look like. I guess to start, let's go ahead and start making some sublayers. So we'll go ahead and call this firewood. Call this base BG. Ahead and give it, it's wood, which means that our background is actually going to be white. So we'll go ahead and say give it a solid background. Lock that layer. Let's go up here. Text. Cool. Grab a text object. Make this black. So the reason the background is white and the text is black is because I'm basically making a bunch of masks for substance, and since it's wood, that means that any text is engraved into wood. It's not raised from wood. So that means that white is raised, black is recessed, or is that right? Recessed? It's indented, it's engraved, it's lower. And these are basically going to serve as sort of height maps at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and start typing. So we're going to have log. Oh my goodness, it is not using the remotely correct font or size. All right, so we can do log, we can do wood, or we can do firewood. Now that gets to be a lot more complicated, honestly, and we kind of need to figure out what we want to call it. I'm fine calling it log, because, well, it's kind of what it is. I guess... No, I was going to say maybe there... I wonder if there's some special terms for firewood, but probably not. Although, actually, we should take a look real quick. And I want to find a example of firewood stacking that's not outside. I'm trying to remember how some of my family has stacked wood inside before, and it was fairly innocuous. So let's go ahead and say inside stacks, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was expecting. So you have this sort of vertical placement of objects. And that's probably what we're going to go with, except it'll be more of a... Let's see. So this is a rack, is what we'll call it. God, that's going to be super awkward to try and make, but... Alright, so I think we're going to do something like this, really, where you have a little bit of wood inside of a metal rack. The metal rack part's going to be kind of annoying to make, but I think we can do it. Alright, so I'm probably going to use, well, less of a ridiculous design, something a little bit more simple, since this is a mountain cabin after all. So the wood will probably be held horizontally, so not this way, I think going lengthwise, and it's going to be metal bookended. So fairly simple design plan to start. Alright, and do we want it to say log? Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and have it say log. So let's get rid of wood. Let's get rid of firewood. It's just going to say log. Um, Now we're probably going to want it to tile. So let's go ahead and do a couple of alterations here. Change our tracking, -100 there. This could probably be -50. This is just to make our letters a little bit more uniformly spaced because the default kerning on Commodore 64, or the font I use, is not that well done. There's a lot of spacing issues. So by copying this, we're going to paste and paste. That looks pretty good. I doubt we'll have any logs longer than 3. In fact, I doubt we'll have any logs longer than 2. But we still need to support that. And let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and get rid of that third one. I think we're good with just 2. All right, so that's the sides. Well, that's one of the sides. Now we need actually a couple more instances of this. So let's go ahead and duplicate log. Paste this out. And then we're good, I think. The trick here is that when you're making firewood, you need to allow for both the internal cork of the wood and then the external bark layer of the wood, which means that we actually need to have 2 different logs. One for the inside of the tree and one that was on the outside of the tree originally. So we're going to give these a little bit of space so that we don't have it spill over accidentally. So that's the exterior. Now we need to do the ends of the logs. The ends, you can see, tend to be a little bit more grainy because they're the internal cork of the wood. So this I'm going to try and do a kind of different approach. We're basically going to have the letters LOG spaced out, so we can just pick whichever one we want. So let's go ahead, go back to Illustrator, and we're going to type L O and G. Okay, so they're all kind of weird, but we need them to be like this. And we are also going to go ahead and space these out as well, again, so that they're a little bit easier to work with. Let's see, that should be good on the whole. So that's our log design. Pretty basic approach there. That's pretty simple because, well, it's a log. The next thing we're going to need to do is the rack. Now, that gets a little bit more complicated, I think, because there are a wide variety of racks. In fact, should I call it a pit? Should I, let's see, fireplace, metal, is it insert? Or is insert the cover? Cool. Is it a grate? Yep, it's a grate. Okay. So let's go ahead and say grate, just to take a look at it and see what possible designs there are. Because I'm fine just calling it grate, or a grate. I don't think it needs to really be that amazing. Let's see. Actually, let's go to our cabin. I don't think we ever actually say fireplace in our fireplace. We say brick because, well, it is a brick. But I probably should have something in here that says like fireplace and then grating, maybe? Or fireplace and then grate. Yeah, it was so backhanding was in back then. That's good. Actually, wait. Do I have backhanding in? I feel like I should. Minor design deviation. Hold on. Dictionary, which is in design. I feel like backhand should be in. Oh, I don't think it is. It's not. Well, now it is. There we go. Thank you, Cool Whip. We now have a new word in the dictionary. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go back here. So, do I want to say fireplace grating or fireplace grate, or should I just say grate? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say fireplace grate, and it's going to be a kind of weird design, but it will make some sense when I finish it, hopefully. All right, so let's go ahead and go back here. So we're going to need... we have a couple of things that we have to deal with, actually. Let's go ahead and go down here. We're going to do some organization. So we're going to say wood, or not word, wood. Let's drag this in. Go ahead and drag another one in here. There's going to be metal. Log text. Let's go ahead and move this all up here. It's going to be our, oops, great. Oh, yeah, it's entirely possible that the audio is not set up in the demo, actually. I probably should actually check that, because I think the entire audio system is kind of half implemented in the demo, and by virtue of that, currently, yeah, there's a lot of settings in the demo that don't work. Although most of them have been fixed now. The audio one probably needs to be tested and properly set up. In any case, so that's our wood. I'm going to go ahead and... Man, I feel like I could fit a lot more on this. I feel like I'm going to have a good third of this texture to do something else. I don't know what that other thing is, but we probably can use it for something. So this is a grate, and this is a rack. All right, so we're going to need a rack. Go ahead and say rack, so I don't forget that that's going to be a thing. So never mind, actually. I guess the grate and the rack combined will probably make up a good portion of this. So let's go ahead and add a new background. So this background is going to be black because it's metallic. And metal, unlike wood, is embossed, which means that its letters are raised. We are also going to move metal on top of this, and we are going to shrink our wood path down by quite a bit, because it's not going to be that large anymore. It's going to be something more like this. There we go. This is our log area. I guess we could probably shrink it in a little bit more, something like that. Then we're going to have the rest be our metal. Okay, so we can lock this. Cool. Let's go ahead and save this so that I can habitually save. So cabin firewood. Go ahead and save that. Yeah, approaching the iron door thing in the sewers, the sound gets stupidly loud. Yeah, it's not super well balanced audio-wise there. I really should do something about that. It's just kind of awkward because it's supposed to be loud, since it's a lot of water running, but it kind of gets too loud at some points, which I'm not a huge fan of. So, let's see. Onto our rack. Now, this is going to be kind of weird, especially because I'm trying to think about how we're going to do this. Yeah, we have to do some weird things. I don't want to do transparency. It's so annoying. But I'm going to have to, aren't I? Alright, fair enough. So my plan for the grate is basically picture something like this, but actually, oh, I guess this is kind of exactly what I was thinking of. So it has a solid metal base. Well, it's not actually solid because, you know, the ash needs to drip through. But it has a solid metal base, and then there's just kind of a grating in the middle, and that grating is going to be the word grate, while the sides will say fireplace. So somewhat simple design, but, you know, that's kind of what I was going for. Oh, you know what? Actually, this is even better. Solid base, again, well, with fall through. and then raised grading. Oh, I like that a lot more. Which I guess is kind of what that was doing. But that way we have great on the bottom, great on the sides, and then we'll have to have side on the sides probably because I think great is too long. But yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and go back here. We're going to select our great over here, start typing. We're going to say great. And of course, that's going to be in black because it always defaults to black. But we need it to be white. Great. Also, you're sharp when you should be none. That's not good. That's just weird. Okay. So there's our great. And then we are going to need, let's move this up here. We're going to need great, side, which of course, again, defaulted to black, which is not at all annoying. There we go. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and shrink some of this in, -100. Everything, actually, you know what, these both can probably be -100. Actually, maybe even 150. Wow, not 150, okay. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Again, I'm going to just kind of tweak these values a little bit, just so that we can get some better flow amongst our characters. Alright. So, we have great, need a drink apparently. We have great for the bottom of the great, the front and back of the great, and then we have side for the sides of the great. Except I need to space these out more. So great is actually going to be a lot more spaced out. It's going to say 0, nope, more than that, 50. Let's see, this needs to be, I think, 100. This does too. I'm just kind of doing the reverse of what I was doing before to try and make them feel a little bit more spaced out. Alright, a little bit more on you. Okay. So the reason that I did that is because just the shape of this object is going to necessitate having a longer great. And since great is only one letter long, I need to space the letters out more. Or, sorry, one letter longer than side. I need to space the letters out far more to make the difference a little bit more apparent. And we can get a little bit of extra help by crunching this down even further to probably like -200. Yeah. So now we basically have 2 extra units of length for great. And I think that's probably good. I might actually go ahead and bump this up to 150. So that's the grading. Let's see. Finished the demo, only found 1 of 2 treasures. Well played, sir. Should not be defeated. The second one is a little bit more well hidden. It certainly does require a little bit more, I don't want to say more thinking, but more exploration. In any case, let's go ahead and we're probably fine having it be here. So we also want to fit fireplace in here. This is going to be fun. Fireplace. Yeah, that's probably not going to work very well. Oh, wait, what? That's not... Okay, I guess it is. Let's go ahead and shrink this down to -100. Yeah, and you can see that, again, the kerning is all kinds of weird for our placements, which means that I need to manually adjust some of these. Let's see, we're going to make this -200. Fireplace here is probably just going to be -150. Let's try to space that out a little bit more. -50. Shrink this into -150. Same here, -150. Let's do a little bit more spacing here between the A and the C. And a little bit less for this. Alright. So now, when I have fireplace there, you can see that the letters feel a little bit more uniformly placed, whereas before they kind of felt like they had almost random gaps in between them. And actually, I kind of need to lengthen this a little bit, so -50. There we go. That's a little bit better. How do you know I didn't find the first or the second one first? Dun dun dun. That's true. I don't know that. I just assume that you found the much more easily obtainable one. I could be wrong though. Actually, in that demo, they're not about the same really, but it is entirely possible that you missed the first one. In any case, so let's go ahead and say fireplace. All right, the last thing I'm gonna do is have metal be listed here. In black on black. That's what I want. It makes it totally readable. Let's go ahead and clear these all out to 0. Except for you, which apparently needs to be -100, and you, who needs to be like friggin' 50. Because M's apparently eat kerning. There. Jeez, that's ridiculous. Man, it's almost like I should have just designed my own font face. Jeez, -100 then. Wow, you really need to. Yeah, that's good. All right, so I'm leaving metal on there. In fact, I'll probably actually double it up. Metal. This is largely in case I need it. I'm guessing it's going to be used somewhat sparingly. Maybe on the corners that are shorter than fireplace. So let's go ahead and yeah, I'm a little worried about that. I don't think I'll ever actually do 2 at once, so I think I can go ahead and just do this. Metal and metal. So that's all of the font face that I think I need for our fireplace grate. But before I do anything else, let's go ahead and set up our rack. So that's going to be also kind of weird. I'm still going to have a lot of extra space though, I feel. So let's go ahead and go to the rack, select this. We're going to start typing, and this is going to be vertical. So R-A-C-K. Again, it defaults to black because of course it does. And we want this to be a little bit less vertically spaced. So first off, shrink this. Vertically spaced 48. That's not bad. Oh, dang it. I hate it when I do that. Delete this. The K needs to be vertically spaced by 60 probably. There we go. So that's our vertical side of the rack. You can see that it's a little, well, it's vertical. I don't know what I was going to say there, but I was going to say something. So this will be the same on both sides. It'll say rack and then rack. We will also need a rack at the bottom, although, funny enough, I seriously doubt that anyone will ever actually see it. But we still do need it. It's going to be white. All right, that's actually pretty well spaced. I'm kind of happy with that. So go ahead and move this rack over here. Move this rack up here. Yeah, we almost have an entire third really to work with. Now I do have some bits that still need to be worked on, I guess. Let me think. How do I want to structure this? Currently, I'm trying to figure out how the model is going to look. It's a super weird process because if I model before I texture, then I tend to make things that are hard to texture, and then if I texture before I model, I don't know what the model is going to be right away. But I do have an idea. I think we are going to end up having to use metal after all. But for now, I think, well, So it's called a rack. Are there anything... Let's go ahead and say firewood rack. Let's see. Yeah, and this is kind of the one I'm actually thinking of. Trying to think if there's any special terms that maybe racks have. Let's see if we can get some names out of blueprints. I will be amazed, honestly, if we do. It's always a toss-up. No, usually you just get dimensions like that. Alright. Well then, yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll just kind of wing it. So, I think we're more or less done, but we are going to do something weird here. So we are going to end up using, oh, actually, you know what, before we do that, let's go ahead and change that to be white. I'm going to select this, copy it, we're just going to paste it in here. So metal, metal, metal. This is going to be a little annoying, isn't it? Yep, metal. It's not quite perfectly spaced. I need to try and space this in such a way that it can seamlessly loop. So let's try shrinking some of these down to 50, -75. You are all actually kind of good. 25, maybe, maybe -50. All right, let's see if that helps. I don't think it will be enough. Dang it, so close. So yeah, we have to do a little bit more extreme changes. Let's see, so that's a -150. Let's see. I think we can change this to be -100. Set our E or our T to be -100, which means that actually our E needs to be 150 to make it look uniform. Nope, 125. Okay, it's a little bit better. Let's collapse our M a little bit more. 25. Nope, that's got to go all the way down to 0. All right, so now that's a lot closer together. So again, let's try this again. Okay, and ironically enough, that's actually too too close. So let's try spacing this out just a little bit. -100, -75. All right, let's try this. It's kind of weird working at such small scales, but you can see that like the smallest change is really important. Because it all accumulates. So I think we will have a little bit of a gap here, which means that I want to actually increase our M by 25. Okay, so now let's take a look at that. There we go. That's a much better spacing. So now the M and the L are a little closer, which makes them a little bit easier to loop without making it look weird. Okay, so that's the metal along the base for our rack. We're going to need to this down to here a little bit. And now we have to do basically the same thing except vertically, and that means that we're going to have to actually rotate it because we need it to seamlessly loop. So let's go ahead and say METAL. Okay, we're going to make that white because metal is embossed. We are going to rotate it 90 degrees because of course we are. Wow, that makes it so awkward to read. Let's see, vertically we're going to try 48 by default, and then of course we have to go through the wonderful world of trying to make this look right. And actually, you know what? For the time being, I'm just going to go ahead and work on this vertically. It'll make it a lot easier. So let's go ahead and change this to, well, no, the L definitely needs to be 60. But the T is not. And also, we run into the wonderful problem of M's. And when I say M's, I don't mean M as in the letter M, although it does refer to that. I mean M's as in EM, which is the unit of measurement in text or typography that indicates the width of the letter M. So, what do I mean by that? If you look at all of these letters, M is wider than all of the other letters. M is the widest character in the English language. Technically, W is as wide sometimes, but usually M is the widest. A capital M is the widest character that we have. So that's why we use the term M. How many M's is a character worth? But to get this M to be centered is super annoying because, well, actually, no, it doesn't actually work like that. So even if I centered the paragraph, you can see that our M still does not become center aligned, and that's because all of the font is still kerned from the left, which is why our L is also looks like it's further left than anything else. Which means that we can't actually do one text object like I was doing here. Instead, I have to have multiple text objects that I then manually position. So that's great. And that basically means that I'm going to have M, eta, and L to make metal. And then I'm going to have to organize them all under a single parent. Joy. All right, so let's go ahead and just start doing that. So there's M. Let's duplicate this. Move it down. There's going to be ETA. Let's space out our T a little bit more. It does not need to be... I just feel like that's too much. Can I do 50? No. So let's see, it'd be 60, it'd be 54, right? Yeah, that looks about right. Let's go ahead and move this up here. And here's where it gets kind of weird. You can see that I'm trying to center it on the M, and that just makes it kind of look odd. But it's necessary, otherwise our font looks like it's aligned weirdly. Alright, final thing, let's go ahead and duplicate this, move it down, get rid of it, and then make it spell just the word, or letter L. Alright, so now we need to carefully position it, again, in the center. Let's move this down a little bit. Alright. So that's our perfectly aligned center vertical metal. That was a lot of effort, but it was necessary. Okay, so now I can go ahead and rotate this, and then in about 5 seconds I'm going to be super mad when they don't seamlessly loop. But, you know, until then, it'll be great. So now we're going to go ahead and duplicate metal. Dang it. Drag this down. Duplicate metal. Drag this down. Yeah, there it is. Not even close. Duplicate metal. Head explode. So, even moving all of these, we're basically an entire letter too long. So let's delete this. Rotate this back. Alright, so let's try to make these fit a little closer. Let's do something like that. It means that our T is going to shrink down to 48, I think. As will our A shrink to a 36. Nope. Let's see, 48. Let's do 42. Not bad. Let's move our L up. Oh, I think this will definitely give us the space we need. Alright, so that's metal. And again, let's go ahead and rotate it. Go ahead and duplicate. Drag this down. Drag this down. And now they're almost too close. Fortunately, I don't think I'm ever going to actually need to go more than 4, but I could be wrong on that. So we're going to do one more minor alteration. Isn't this so much fun? I'm kidding. It is. I know it's a bit of a tedious process, but at the end of the day, we are making a super specific aesthetic, and I need to kind of pull out all the stops on it. Alright, so let's move you down just a little bit more. Like there. I mean, that actually might be enough. Let's go ahead and change our T to just a little bit more space. Let's do 52. Even that is too much. Let's do 50. All right. Last thing, L, one more down. All right. So there's our new layout. Let's go ahead and save this. Let's load this up, rotate it. Let's duplicate. Let's start dragging. Duplicate. And one more. Yes. All right. So any other... okay. Some minor discrepancies here. I just want to make some tiny adjustments. Move that down by 1. Everything else is good, I think. Yep, that's good. Well, nope. Yeah, we're good. It's super awkward to try and judge if things are straight and perfectly aligned when they're sideways. So I just had some minor edits to do there. Let's go ahead and select that. Drag this off. Let's go ahead and delete that. Drag this off. And let's go ahead and duplicate and drag. Sweet. All right. So I'm going to, just for the sake of convenience, do a little bit of spacing. Try and get things to look nice. And one more. There we are. All right. So that should be a seamless looping for metal. Trying to think if there's anything else that I can do there. Not really. I think that's good. I think this is a pretty good texture for us. So let's go ahead and... do I want to do the substance next, or do I want to do the model? I guess I need the substance to make the model, otherwise I have a weird, awkward process of getting textures mapped. So, cool. All right. Thinking. All right. Right. So we're going to call this masks. Well, no, we'll call this base. And base is just a convenient place for me to have everything, and then I'm going to use masks. All right, so let's go ahead. Duplicate. Base. I don't know why certain things don't work in Illustrator. Like I can't hit delete or backspace to delete a artboard thing. I have to manually do it. Masks. Alright. Oh, yeah, I probably should rename these too. All the metal copies. We're good here. Getting rid of all this fun stuff. Alright, let's see here. What else do I need to do? I need to actually separate these, and it'll be a little bit more predictable. Would that work? God, that would suck so hard. Alright, so let's go ahead and, first off, we're going to do wood. It's just going to be that, isn't it? Alright, let's duplicate this. So pretty straightforward. It's literally just the solid slabs that let us know where everything is. Let's go ahead and lock that. We'll go next to log. Nope, that's where I get. Yep. All right. So we're gonna say log interior. Let's see. So we're gonna grab duplicate of this. This in. this. Let's see. Oh, right. Hold on. You know what? The exterior will be up top. So let's go ahead and delete this one. All right. So there's our text. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. Put that in there. We're going to change our log text to be white here. Okay. Simple as that. Let's go ahead and lock that. Make it go away. Say log exterior. And capital E. I'm not a savage. Let's go ahead and... Do I need to duplicate this anymore? Nope, I don't. I think I can just drag this in here. No, except it's locked. So let's go ahead and try that again. Put you there. We'll delete these. Don't need them. Oh, you know what? Actually, hold on. Yeah, we are going to duplicate that because I am going to need these at some point. So we're going to duplicate this. Drag it in. Get rid of the copies. And get rid of everything that's not the top log. Again, duplicate our background. Change our font to be white. Now the reason I'm doing white here, even though I said that I wanted black to be recessed, is because in Substance Designer, it's much easier to have white targets than black ones when you're doing masks. Because black means that the mask is going to be ignored there, and white means that's what the mask is targeting. So I like to use white here when I can. Let's go ahead and lock that. So that's our log text. Dang it. I need to add some extra masks, actually. So I'm going to call this log interior text and log exterior text. We're going to duplicate wood. Move this down here. It's not going to be called wood anymore. It's going to be called wood interior. All right. Let's go ahead and move this down. Well, you know what? No. Let's go ahead and just make 2 duplicate paths here. Wow, that is not at all what I wanted to do. Duplicate path. All right, we're going to change this one's height to 256. That's too much. 128. Not bad. Hold on. Trying to make this work. All right. So let's go ahead and move this up here. Sorry, kind of. I hate it when it does that. Like that's Illustrator has so many freaking problems. Like I can't make something visible that's invisible if it's locked. I don't know why that's the case. I guess to be fair, it is locking the entire layer, but still, that's kind of dumb. In any case, I'm just trying to see this. So let's change this to let's see, 128 plus 64, so 88, 92, 192. That's a little bit better, I think. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. I might shrink it down to 160 though. Just so that it's not encroaching on the other logs' territories. That's pretty good. All right. So that's our top wood. Now let's turn on our bottom wood. There we go. So now those are 2 very distinct paths. We are going to actually go ahead and drag these guys down to here, then delete the original. All right. And the reason that I did that is because, well, I kind of need that to be the case for our stuff here. And you know what? We're going to duplicate it again because I need to move it back to the base. Duplicate. Okay, we're good there. Go ahead and lock the base. Alright, so now I can go ahead and duplicate these. Move them up to wood interior, except I didn't actually need the exterior one, so I can delete that. Go ahead and do this. Alright, so that's wood interior. Let's go ahead and lock that, turn it off. Let's do another one. We're going to call this one wood exterior. Same thing, basically. So we're just going to go ahead and duplicate wood, move this up, let's delete the base here. Alright, let's go ahead and get rid of the copy because I hate seeing that. And then we'll just duplicate our path here for our background. Alright, so now that's that. Now we can turn all this fun stuff on again. Turn you off. Alright, so we're done with our wood portion now. But now we need to move on to, oh boy, a lot. Just a lot. God, this is going to be super weird. In fact, I'm actually a little concerned because I think I'm going to need to double up on side here. So I'm going to... let's see. Do I need any other sort of formation for this? I don't. I'm going to get rid of background here. Don't need it anymore. I am going to go ahead and turn off our masks, lock that layer, and I'm going to make some edits to our original text, specifically the side here. I'm actually going to duplicate this and then move it off to the right. And the reason I did that is because this side is going to be transparent or have transparency, and this side will not. So that's going to be a very important distinction in a little bit. Oh geez, that's going to make masking so annoying. Like, really annoying. Alright, so that's that. Let's go ahead and open up masks again, make it visible. Let's see. Let's get rid of the old grate. Make a copy of the original. Move that in here. Alright. So the next thing we need to do is we'll do grate text, except it's going to be great text. Wow, that is super awkward. No, we'll just go ahead and say fireplace great text, and then we'll have fireplace text. Fireplace text. Except we are going to need eventually fireplace great background. That's going to be a super weird thing that has to be done, but you'll see what that is in a little bit. All right. Let's see here. The next thing we want to do is actually position everything. Jeez, we're going to have to do it again, aren't we? Yep. So much fun. All right, before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and make another layer. I'm going to call this log height. All right, so log height is kind of what it sounds like. We're going to make this all actually behave like a normal map. So black means it's recessed, white means it's raised. Gotta go. All right, well, thanks for stopping by, Pirates. Or MP. Movecraft Pirates has so many syllables in it, it's so hard to say. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. All right, so we have this. We need to actually change our background. So I am going to go ahead and let's go ahead and duplicate this. It's going to be a little different. Call this BG. Actually, you know what? We'll just delete this. Copy this. Move it in here, and we'll make it white. That will do the exact same thing. Okay. Simple as that. That's our height map now for logs, and that's all going to be useful at a slightly later date. Once we start doing substance things. All right, so it's a never-ending fight. Let's see here. Yeah, this is going to be awkward. So we're going to select this. I'm going to go ahead and lock existing things. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Let's go ahead and we're going to have to do some shapes. So we're going to start with this. What can I do? I can't do 128. I like to work in multiples of 8, but I can't do it here. It's too close. All right. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then we'll also go ahead and do it here. All right. So that's the fireplace grate background. Okay. God, this is going to be so difficult to actually pull off. Let's duplicate this, pull this in. Are you serious? Oh my goodness. And that's one of the other things, is you can duplicate things, but you can't move them. It's just annoying. All right. I guess this would actually go everywhere else, wouldn't it? Okay, let's go ahead and lock that. Now onto the great text. The great text is specifically just these two. So we're going to duplicate this, move that into fireplace great text. While we're here, might as well just duplicate this path, then move it down, make this go away. Okay, let's go ahead and organize this just a little bit more. Text, that to BG. All right, so that's the great text. And then next we have the actual fireplace text, which is, let's see, these guys. So that's going to go here under a parent called text. Put that up. We're going to duplicate this. Move that up to here. Call it background. Okay. Now the reason, I'm sure that people are curious, so the reason that it's, or that I'm separating all of these things into their own masks is because when I put them all together again in Substance, I need individual things to happen to them, and I need to have more control over them. Particularly the grate and side up here, there's going to be transparency around those. So I kind of have to do this weird process where I'm going to, even though they're going to have the same coloring as everything else, I need to allow myself to carve out of them, basically, to make it transparent there. It's kind of weird, but it's just how Substance work, and that's the workflow that we have here. God, I don't even know if we're actually going to get to modeling today. We might just do texturing. I forgot how long it takes me to do these things on stream. All right, so that's our fireplace text. Let's go ahead and add another layer. We are going to have fireplace height. All right, now that means that we're just going to end up doing this. We're going to call this text. Then we are going to change, well, it's already all white, that's good. I'm going to duplicate this, move this just to here, call it BG. Very simple, don't have to do much there. Let's go ahead and lock that. We might not even end up exporting some of these things because I can concatenate them. But nah, we'll see. All right, on to the final thing, which is the rack. All right, so for this, we're going to have to do a couple of things that are weird. So we're going to say, yep, rack. And again, this is another one of those weird issues where I need to I basically need to have a mask that's going to have transparency. So I'm going to put this back here. Let's go ahead and make that invisible for now. We're going to duplicate both of our racks. Move them up to here. Except I'm not actually going to do that there. I lied. Instead, I'm going to simply try to anchor this in such a way that makes sense. Something probably like here, and then here. All right, so now when I turn that on, you can see that it's just isolating those two areas. Again, weird, but it is necessary for coloring purposes. All right, so that's the rack. Then we're going to need rack text. Which is going to be what I was originally doing. So I'm going to duplicate this, move these guys into rack text, put them under a parent called text, duplicate our metal path here, drag that up here, rename that BG. All right. And finally, we are going to end with our actual rack metal text. Yeah, we'll duplicate again. Go ahead and duplicate this. Text. Go ahead and get rid of all of this. All right, drag this in, and we are almost done. Let's go ahead and move this up. Name this to BG. Move text above it. Okay. Oh, and actually, you know what? I did forget to do this. Duplicate this. Move this up to here. Cool. Last thing to do is just going to be called rack height. And oh, this is actually where it gets kind of weird. All right, so we're going to call this text. But it's not all exactly what you would think. Instead, we actually need to duplicate these. Then move them into here, below our text. Let's go ahead and... Now, the reason we've done that is because we need... Hold on. How am I going to phrase this? So these spots are going to be black. Actually, you know what? No, it doesn't matter because color will be... Yeah, never mind. I'm making that way more complicated than I needed it to be. There we go. Simple as that. All right. So all that work, and now we actually do have usable masks now. So now we're going to have to pull this stuff over into Substance to start working on the actual texture and material for this. Let's go ahead and open that up. And before I do anything else, I guess I will go ahead and go over to Unity, TextQuest, Art. We're going to have a couple of things that I need to do. Go ahead and go down here. So this is going to be textures, this is going to be substance, environment, overworld, cabin. And this is environment, overworld, cabin. All right. So we're going to create a new substance. It's going to be called cabin fireplace miscs. Yeah, so cabin, fireplace, miscellaneous. That all seems correct. We don't really need a height map, but I still have to use it. So let's go ahead and hit OK here. Oi. It's been a while, apparently. Probably should have done that off to the side. All right. first things first, I'm going to get rid of this height map. Don't need it. In fact, I can't use height maps with TextQuest. The aesthetic goes nuts if I try that. So we're going to have... Oh man, this is going to be a really, really complicated one. I already know. Fortunately, metallic and rough... Well, roughness might be a little more complicated, but metallic will be easy, fortunately. Let's see. First off, we're going to do blend stuff. And, oh, you know what? I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. Although I guess I can start doing this. Cabin fireplace miss. All right. So now we have to export all of this. And let's go ahead and uncheck all of this and just make it locked at the parent level. All right. So we're going to save this. And now we're going to start exporting. Jeez, of course. All right, so that's going to be cabin firewood. Oh, dang it, I should have called it cabin firewood miscellaneous. Oh, well. No, I can't do that. Open recent files. Let's try that again. Completely borked that up. All right, so we're going to save this out as cabin firewood miscellaneous. Okay. All right. So now we can go ahead and delete certain things, uncheck others. I don't like that it opens up all of the friggin' tabs for some reason. Delete this. Make it all visible. Save this out as an SVG. Then underscore mask underscore wood. Okay. Recent files. Let's see here. I'm going to do a couple of things to make my life easier, I think. First off, I'm going to make that all of them be visible. All right. So let's go ahead and delete this. Delete everything except wood interior. Oh, well, that's right. Okay, right. Mask, wood, interior. Okay, go ahead and Control Z all of this. Let's see. I need to turn you on. All right, let's turn or delete everything except for wood exterior. Do the same thing. SVG wood interior, except I'm going to rename this to wood exterior. Save. All right, again, Control Z. Let's see here. So now we have log interior text. Delete this. Go ahead and SV or SVG. We'll call this log underscore interior. I kind of feel like I should keep it consistent and say wood interior and then underscore text. Okay. Control Z again. Exterior. Wood exterior text. SVG. All right. Let's see. Get rid of all of this again, except for log height. Let's go ahead and call it wood height. So this is now going to be mask fireplace rate. rid of fireplace grate text. Fireplace grate underscore text. My goodness, these files are ridiculous. I really do need to find some way of automating all of this, because that would speed up my workflow dramatically. Okay, so fireplace text. I've just never done any sort of scripting. So fireplace text. I've just never done any sort of scripting with Adobe's applications. I know that you can do things like batch files, but I've just never done it with Adobe. All right, so now we're down to fireplace height. Okay. Almost done. 2 more, or 3 more after this one. So this will be rack. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. There we go. Let's see, mask rack underscore text. Okay. Mask rack underscore metal underscore text. All right, last one. Rask height. Okay. Finally, after all this time, I can now actually import everything. So let's see. We're looking for cabin fireplace. Or cabin firewood. Oh, that's kind of what I called it. Oops. Oh well. Let's see. Pretty much all of this. We might not end up using all of it, but it is something that having all the options available to us will be nice. All right. Crank the graphics quality down to 1. Okay, and then we're going to drag this all into the scene. Lots of masks. Lots of masks. Not disputing that at all. Let's see. Might as well try to organize them and make them grayscale as we go. Go ahead and pull out the ones that I don't think we currently need. Well, not the ones we don't need, it's the ones that we don't use right away. So a lot of the larger scale masks like this. Actually, you're fine. Grayscale, 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 and grayscale. Alright, so let's see. This is wood interior text. Kind of trying to pull out the height maps as well. There's a height map. Let's see. I'm guessing you're a height map. Yep, that's a height map. Pretty much anything that has all of the text, not just some of the text, that is a height map as well. So there's our 3 height maps that we have. And there's our wood masks. Sorry, there's our wood masks. And that's our grate and rack masks. Alright, so we're going to try and do this in a sensible fashion. Do all this fun stuff. Actually, this can be at the bottom because it's not going to really be used except for by its very specific circumstances. Okay, we're going to move these guys up. I was going to try to space these guys out a little bit better. So let's see here. Let's start with wood up top. So here's our wood text all the way at the very top, followed by our grading, followed by our rack. Okay, so that's all of the wonderful, wonderful masks. Here is our height maps, and here are our section masks, basically. Wow, that is super tall and vertical, but we are going to need that, I think. All right, so, oh boy, let it begin. First things first, I'm going to save. Now, we're going to start off simple with our blend here. So I'm going to go ahead and say absolute. It's going to be a blend of 512 by 512. We're going to have uniform color. It's going to be grayscale. We will have 2 of these. Let's go ahead and feed this in. So this is what our wood mask is going to be used for here. Let's see. So we want this to be white. So this bottom thing is metallic, which means that we actually want the top to be entirely non-metallic and the bottom to be probably something like, I don't know, 50 metallic. All right, so now you can see there's a little bit of a difference there, and that's because, well, wood is not metallic. Okay, so we're going to move this here, move you here, and that's all we have to do for our metallic map, fortunately. We don't have to do much there. Our roughness map gets a little odd, but I'm not particularly worried about it. I think it'll still be along the same lines, basically. In fact, geez, it all comes down to how fancy I want to be. Because I could add things like rust, and I probably should. So we'll just duplicate this for now, but I get the feeling that I'm going to want to change this later. All right, so first up, wood is going to be entirely rough, and you are probably going to be 200, so like mostly rough. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so that's our basic layout for metallic and roughness maps. Now the 2 big juggernauts, which are going to be color and normal map. Although normal map, actually, I kind of made it a lot easier for myself by doing these normal maps specifically. Although I say I made it easier, and then I actually made it a lot harder, because of course I did. So we're going to try doing some fancy blending here. Put you in, put you in. We're going to change this from copy to max, so the maximum amount. And then we are going to do a super weird thing. Actually, no, it's not going to be that bad. I'm going to do another blend, and we are actually going to use you in a 3rd spot. You're going to be our foreground. You will be our background. Cool. So that's our text height map, and that's usually the like a weird thing that we have to do. So we're going to go up here all the way. We're going to hit space, add a normal map. We will eventually do a normal combine in the end here. Let's go ahead and place this up. So not a whole lot to do with that, but it's done its part. Let's see. Input. Let's go ahead and expose this as normal format. Okay. Go ahead and paste this in. Get rid of this line. Put it up here. So there's our normal map, and now you can see that if we actually apply it. So again, you can see that our log texture, or our log text, is recessed. It's actually in, like, it's like it's been engraved into the wood, while our metal is embossed. It's raised, because when you work with metal, you tend to design it in a way that makes things pop from it, rather than making it be engraved and scratched into it. I mean, unless you're doing like fancy ornamentation, but that's a different thing. So it's just a nice way to add some height variety for lighting. Okay, so that's not the normal map finished, but I'm going to move on to colors really quickly, and then we'll come back to normal map once we have that functioning. Oh boy, color. This is the big one. So we're going to have a lot of stuff here. First up, let's see. We're going to use you. Uniform color. Oh, crap. And you know what I did forget down here? These guys are going to be absolute sizes of 16 by 16 so that they're not generating 1024 by 1024 textures, which is pointless. Why 16 by 16, you ask? It is because, for some reason, Substance apparently works fastest with 16 by 16 textures for solid colors. I don't know why 8 by 8 is not the fastest, but all of the Substance guys that have talked about it have said that it is 16 by 16. So that's what we do. And the reason that we make it 16 by 16 is because it's a solid color. It doesn't make sense to generate 124 by 124 pixels of gray if they're the same exact color. Might as well make it as small as possible. All right, we're going to come back here. Again, make this absolute. 16 by 16. And not too worried about that. Oh, and I suppose I should explain why I made these 512 by 512 and everything else is not as hard set. The reason I did that is because I have a workflow where my metallic and roughness maps are always 512 by 512, no matter what. And that's because 512 by 512 is the smallest resolution that TextQuest supports for textures. A lot of text. And the goal is that by limiting it to just 512 by 512 for metallic and roughness textures, one, I'm not really losing a lot of information, but two, it means that I will only ever generate two 512 by 512 textures instead of, let's see, so I'm going to have a 1K or possibly 2K normal map, and then a 1K or possibly 2K color map, or 512 across the board. But you don't really get a lot of extra information from the metallic and roughness maps. So by making them lower resolution, it means that I'm saving a bunch of memory over time. So this is just a general approach that I've decided is the best way to go. In any case, let's go ahead and grab this. We're going to fill in our colors real quick. So unlike below, these are actual colors, which means that we can just kind of make really weird things. Oh, right, and this is important. This needs to be relative to parent, otherwise it won't work. All right, so now begins the long, arduous process. So, first things first. Wow, this is already not going to work very well. Or at least not as well as I would like. So we're going to make this like a brownish color, I think. Go for something like that. Actually, you know what? That's actually not good enough. This is the interior, so we want kind of a more like a yellow-brown. Kind of like, oh geez, this is super awkward, like a tannish. I guess it's kind of, it weirdly leans more right, or white, though. Something like that. That is not a great color, but we're going to stick with it for now. And the reason for that is because I actually want this to be more of a brownish color for darker recessed text. I think that works. All right. Next, we're going to do another blend. Actually, you know what? We're just going to kind of daisy chain these. All right. So this one is going to take the back color from before. It's going to use, nope, not that. It's going to use, where are you? You. Okay. So now I'm going to fill in a new color. So you can see that our background is now set to that. Let's go ahead and copy and paste this down here again. So this is where it gets super fun. Again, same thing, except now we're going to use this one. Paste a new color down here. Trying to organize this in a way that makes it less confusing. So that doesn't work because these are the same color. Let's go ahead and bump this down a little bit like that. Makes it bounce a little, or pop a little bit more. And that's basically our log, but now we have to blend in all of the metal stuff, which is going to be a while, or a lot. Let's see here. First off, I'm going to stretch, because I have been sitting for 2 hours now. Alright. Second, I am going to start doing a bunch of color blends. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. Alright, so we're going to, first off, let's do another blend. Copy this. Paste this down here. Alright, so I'm not going to blend this color yet, but I am going to do this. Okay, let's grab these two guys, paste them in, move them over here, here. Alright, let's make this a little bit more of a metallic color. It tends to be bluish. I tend to try and do like a very gray blue for my metal colors, with a similarly gray blue but more white for text. Alright, so that's good. Default text size. But you know what would be good is to copy, or would be to copy this. And we are actually going to blend you and you. Yes. So there we go. So now our solid colored text is already set. Next we're going to start doing our wonderful color blending for the other bits of text here. So we're going to need to say, go ahead and copy this, paste this down here. You're going to be our background, but this is going to be so friggin' weird. Copy this, paste it in here. We're actually going to need this 2 times, so copy and paste. Alright. Second time we'll need it is for the actual text object colors, which, funny enough, will be this. Oh, right. Sorry, I did that totally backwards. And let's see. Next, I'm going to need these guys. There we are. Alright. I didn't realize that they sort of almost formed a perfect shape together. Alright. Fun part. We're going to put this here. And this is interesting. It's not doing nothing. Do I have to actually make transparency now? No, it's just, that's interesting. Alpha blending. This is kind of weird. I wonder if they changed that. Part of it is that it's, I know that this alpha blending stuff is also super friggin' weird if we're not careful. So I'm going to actually try to plug this in right now. We don't have transparency, but I don't know if that's because we actually don't have transparency or if it's just because it's not showing it. Let's see. There's a way to do this. It's probably not really that easy. Okay, well then I'm just gonna continue on like it has behaved in the past, and if it doesn't, then that's something that I'm going to have to try to fix. In any case, we're going to go ahead and copy this, paste it over. Pretty much the exact same setup. We're going to go here, except now we're going to have our text color. Alright, so last thing that we have to do is we need to blend these two guys together. And again, we are going to use this. Yarg. There we are. Put this over here, put you here. Okay. And I believe that's all we needed. So there's our color with some amount of normal map. And some amount of metallic and roughness. Alright, so things got a little more clunky than I was hoping they would, but what are you going to do? Let's go ahead and stretch this out, try to position things in ways that are not super crisscrossy. Slide this behemoth of a thing over. Alright. I think we're good there. I'm just going to go ahead and bump you up. Alright. I'm just going to bump these guys down. Now comes the super fun part. And when I say super fun, I don't actually mean that. But let's see. We're going to need some wood. Oh, panorama shape. I don't think I've used that yet. Let's see. Wood. I know you have wood. There it is. So we have wood fibers 1 and wood fibers 2, neither of which are actually quite what I want. Which is not great, actually, because that means that I'm going to have to figure out a way to get it to look like what I want. Which I'm sure is going to involve some weird, wonderful blending. So wood fibers, we're going to use the cleaner wood fibers for the interior because, well, that's what it is. Although, oh man, you guys. I might need extra masks. It's fine for now, I guess. Yeah, alright. So, first things first, let's go ahead and move this up here. Can I rotate this? Nope, I'm going to have to rotate that. Transformation 2D, rotating this 90 degrees. The reason for that is because, well, our log is going horizontally, which means that our grain needs to go horizontally, because that's the way it would have been cut, or the way it would have grown. Either way, basically it needs to be horizontal, so it matches the text. Okay, so that's our interior of the wood. I guess I will also go ahead and do a levels thing. Oops. Just to control it a little bit more. I'm not really going to do much. We do that. Very, very minor. Now for the top. This one gets a little bit more tricky. Jeez. Yeah, this one's going to get super weird too. So I'm going to do levels. Then transformation 2D. I don't want to lower the contrast, but I do want to lower this, make it a little bit more rough, like that. I'm trying to basically smooth out some of these. Okay, so actually doing this type of deal makes it look a little bit more like a wood grain. Alright, so we're going to mix. We're going to blend these two together. Let's see. That's not ideal. Now is it? Hold on. Let's see here. Alpha. Yeah, I can't really do that. Let's go ahead and try like a multiply. Let's see what I can get going here. That actually almost looks better for an interior, honestly, because of the cracks. Let's see. Not switch. Divide. It's not terrible. Overlay's pretty good. We might just do overlay for now. Alright, so we're going to have another blend node. I'm going to take the top, bottom, and then we're going to use this guy over here. Alright, so that's going to be our wood grain. I'm not going to worry about text for now. I don't think I really need to. Metal is going to be... I think I'm going to be a little lazy for this, just because I would like to get this texture done. Although we are probably going to end the stream after this texture, just because it takes forever to do these things, and I actually have a couple of other things that I need to do today that are not text quest related. Very rarely does that ever happen. But, let's see. Let's go ahead and do... We'll do a... It's not Gaussian, it's... fractal sum. There we go. I want fractal sum base. Pull that in over here. We will go ahead and pull this straight into a blend. Grab this. There's our foreground. Again, one of these days I'll be able to grab this. It's just so tiny. There's that. There's that. And there we go. So now all of our text, all of our yeah, that doesn't really look that great when we look at it. So I'll mess around with that. All of our metallic surfaces, all of our wooden surfaces, they all have normal maps, they all have color, they all have lighting, they all have roughness and metallic values. And I'm going to go ahead and say that's good enough for now. There are a lot of other things that I need to tweak. So I'll probably I'll work on this today and tomorrow, and by Tuesday's stream, I would like to have the fireplace models done. In fact, I would like to have a lot of the models done, because the sooner I do that, the more things I can do design-wise on the streams. But yeah, that's the basic shape of everything. We're going to end up doing a lot of UV sorting, I'm sure. Well, at least I will, and it's probably going to be a nightmare for me, but, you know, do what I can. So that's a pretty good place to stop for the day. Thoughts on the first weekly recap? I think it went well. This is a new format for me. I've not done this sort of like weekly recap / projection for the following week. And I like doing this, but I don't know if it's particularly interesting for people. But then again, I think it's more of like a 15-minute thing at the start of a Sunday dev stream, and then maybe an art stream for the rest of the time, just as a nice little check-in. But yeah, well, I'm sure that this format will also evolve a lot going forward. In any case, that's a good place to stop for the night. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.